Hello and welcome to another edition of Long Beach Treasures. This is part 2 of the East Village, and joining me right now is Bianca Sovic, who has the costume store here, and tell us about it.
Well, it's Bianca's Divine Costumes, and we specialize in historic garments. All we do is period pieces. As a matter of fact, I just got a call from Cerritos, the Rancho Los Cerritos. They're doing a big fundraiser based in the 1840s, so I'll probably be custom making some gowns for her. And I also do a lot of stuff with the Shakespeare Company, the Long Beach Shakespeare Company. I'm going to be doing Romeo and Juliet, so I just got assigned 14 costumes to make by February 17th, so it's really exciting. There's a lot of need for historic garments, believe it or not.
And don't forget, you dressed me as the Phantom of the Opera.
You were Phantom of the Opera. In a good one, too.
All right. Let's take a quick peek inside the store.
Okay. Come on in.
Bianca, it looks like you could outfit any type of person in any type of costume. Did you design and make all of these?
I made most of them. I mean, there's a few things that I purchase. For instance, the pimps and the Elvises. I don't make those. But I specialize in the big gowns, the big historic gowns. And it's all party clothes. You know, so my goal isn't to make it 100% accurate. It's to make it historically inspired. So they could fit modern day people in comfort, so they're not too corseted, and it's for parties.
Thanks, Bianca, for letting us drop by.
A pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Thank you.
Here we are at one of the specialty shops here in the East Village called Seams, and joining me is Trevor. And tell me about your store.
Well, our store is a merge between skateboarding goods and a boutique, a Highline boutique, which brings a little more art to the East Village area. We also hold art shows here during the art walk. So what we can do is kind of take a look inside. We carry a lot of lines from diesel to Howe to paper denim to also we have a lot of Stussy and then a lot of consignment things from the local area. So it's more of a local shop trying to bring a little more higher scale clothing line to the area.
Unique ceiling.
Yes, yeah, they come up with that. They're really artsy people who own the store. So this is actually Grande's work here. He does really a lot of stuff in Japan and LA, and he's been very popular. So we kind of incorporate art, fashion, and skateboarding all in one.
Trevor, thanks for letting me stop by.
No problem. Thanks for coming.
Joining me now is Cheryl McDonald. She's the owner of the art store here. Cheryl, give me a brief history of your store.
Well, I just opened in November. The name of the gallery is called Passions at Play, and it's about the passion of art and the expression of that. Everything in here is made by local artists who love what they do, and so I just have an opportunity to bring that to the people here in Long Beach. Plus my artwork I put on the walls. All the drawings and paintings are mine, and I still do architectural illustration as well here. So
thank you. I think your shop is beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting us stop by.
Thank you for coming.
Here we are at another unique store here in the East Village, and joining me is Patty. And what's the name of your store?
Percy Lou. I'm actually not the owner. Hillary Blazin is the owner.
And what do you specialize in?
We have lots of different style of clothes. We've got some spring stuff out, as well as some winter. Scarves, hats, fun accessories, stuff like that. We sell some books and soaps and fun little gift ideas. You know, we're always getting new stuff in, so it's always nice to see the same people come back, you know, that live in the area. And we're going through some change. I'm sure you see the paint. We're painting up here. It's going to be brown as well, so that's why we've got the two-tone. But we sell cards, and you know, it's just a wonderful gift store. Or, again, if you're into you know, accessories and stuff, we've always got fun accessories like these scarves and hats and purses.
Thanks for letting us drop by.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And so if any of our viewers need a specialty gift, come down.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
It's
thanks.
definitely a fun little store. It's great to work in, too.
All right. All right, joining me now is a local artist, Raimundo, and this is his shop, and tell me about it.
I'll tell you about it. Well, I've been here about 5 years now. This particular gallery I just opened up in May of last year. Now, down the street.
Are these all your works of art?
No, we carry different different artists here. A lot of this work is mine also, but we also carry quite a few artists. We do shows.
How often?
About twice, or let's say every 3 or 4 months we do a show or feature artist.
And there's sculpture, painting.
There's sculptures, there's paintings, fine art paintings, just a little bit of everything.
And it goes on further back?
It goes on further back.
Let's go take a peek at it.
This is what I call the red room right here. The blue room and the red room, and it kind of brings out the paintings. We try to carry here more some Latin work, but again, different type of artists.
Now, are these local artists?
Mostly, yes. Yeah, we try to feature local artists from the East Village.
And all of the paintings are for sale?
And yes, they are.
All right. Well, thank you for letting us stop by. This is really a beautiful store. I guess it's probably not called a store, it's probably called a gallery or something.
Gallery, yeah. It's a fine art gallery. By fine art, we mean we carry just really fine art, really good work.
All right. Thanks for letting us come by.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Here we are in another gallery here in the East Village, and joining me right now is Mike.
Michael Parnoff, hello.
And Mike, tell me about it.
Well, this is Gallery 11-7. This is an artist co-op gallery.
And a co-op means?
Means it's a gallery that's owned by artists, ran by artists, for the artists. It's how to explain. I should introduce you to Larry, who is actually the founder of Gallery 11-7. This is Larry Bott.
Larry?
Hello.
Tell me about it.
Well, first of all, welcome to our gallery.
Thank you.
We have been here for 5 years, going on 6 years now, which is quite astounding for a gallery. I had a retail business before. I know how hard it is to run a retail business. We had an opportunity to open up a cooperative gallery, and we thought it would be a perfect situation for a burgeoning arts district because it's so difficult to run a gallery for one person, but for 15, it's not so bad.
Now, he said this was a co-op. Does that mean that all of the paintings in here are painted by people who belong to the co-op?
That's exactly right. We have 15 paying members. Each person gets a one-man show every 15 months. You know, one person, one show per month. And then the rest of us are able to have our things on display, but the one-man show is in that part of our gallery.
And this is a one-man show right now?
This is actually a group show. We did a group show over the Christmas holidays, and this is the holdover from the group show. And then we'll come this February, we'll be having a one-man show, and John will be the person who will be featured.
And what do you specialize in, John? Anything particular?
Yes, I do. I'm John McLean. I have two specialties, actually, only two things that I do. I carve stone and I do Celtic graphics.
What's that?
The Celtic, well, I can give you a small example of my Celtic work here. This is, I take the ancient Celtic art of interlacing figures like you would see in old Irish manuscripts, like the Book of Kells, or in Scotland, the Book of Lindisfarne. And I've sort of, just as the musicians have taken the traditional music and made a new age, modern version of it, I've done the same with the old style of artwork that used to be done to illuminate ancient holy texts, all kinds of things.
You must have an awfully steady hand to do that kind of intricate work.
Yeah, it takes a lot of patience, a lot of erasing, and a lot of drawing and redrawing and redrawing, and then you redraw.
And a lot of swearing?
No, just patience. Oh, okay. the swearing I reserve for the stone.
Are these yours?
These are some of my smaller pieces, and these are all alabaster. These are all works in various alabasters. This is one of my best pieces right here. I call it Contortion in Red. And this is a raspberry alabaster from Utah.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. But this takes a little more elbow grease, a little more muscle, a little more opportunity to skin your knuckles and swear.
Now, I don't know if my interpretation would be correct. I see this, but I see a human being bent over.
You know, that's one of the things I like about my work is no two people see the same thing. I've had people come and say, everybody looks at my stuff and says, oh, it reminds me of, and then they come up with something that was absolutely not in my mind when I made it.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
And you have more rooms over here that's part of the...
Yes, we do. I could give you over to Taya Robertshaw here, who also has some of her very beautiful work on display.
Where's yours?
Well, hello. The Child and the Crab over there is mine. It's one of my older paintings. I work a lot from my dreams and mythological themes, shamanic themes. So there's always either a winged creature or some other animal in it.
What's in the room over here?
We have some other artists here, and we have Mike Partnoff. He's also a sculptor. And maybe you would like to talk to Mike about his piece, but then there are several others, another sculptor, Terry, and a couple more painters in here. And we have Robin, who does craft type things. And that's Robin Bott.
There's all kinds of different styles and
Yes.
textures and
There sure are.
themes.
We have quite a variety of artists here.
Mike, I believe you told me that the sculpture here is one of yours.
Yes, it is.
I see a little resemblance.
Yeah, a little resemblance. This is my self-portrait of myself. I call it self-image. It's made out of cast stone and leaded glass.
Oh, all right. That's different.
Yeah, it's very different. Yeah, it's different from a lot of work I've done.
Now, do you specialize in this kind of in sculptures as opposed to?
Yeah, I don't do any painting. I do sculptures like this and also stone carving also.
And now, when's the next show here?
For mine
Or the next show that they're going to have here on?
next second Saturday, February 14th.
Oh.
So that's the next. There'll be John's opening. We have who's in March?
So one person has a month.
Yeah, each person has a month to show.
And there are
It's
15
social.
of you,
Yes.
so that's why you get 1 month every 15 months.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for letting us stop by. I mean, this is, it's neat to know that we have a co-op here and that everything is going well here in the East Village.
It's going it's been going great.
Thank the co-op for me.
I will.
All right, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Raimundo, a masterpiece out here on the wall. Tell me about it.
Well, this was done like in let's see, the date is still down there, 2001, 2002. Anyway, this was, I was hired to do this. It's called the People's Mural for the East Village. What I'm trying to do now is incorporate more of the East Village theme, art district.
I like the white stripes you have on the sidewalk. It gives it a three-dimensional aspect.
Still working on it. So there's a lot more to be put into this mural, but it's looking really great. We need lights on it, though.
What I love about this mural, I heard the story when you were painting it. The former director of the Public Corporation for the Arts, Robin, and
he's there.
He onto the mural.
Yeah, well, I try to add some of the people that's been here before. There's quite a few people here that work in the East Village, and that's why we call it the People's Mural. It's for everybody, actually.
Well, next time you're painting, let me know. I'll stroll by.
Okay, right. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wade, before we go into your building, tell me what's going to go here.
This is going to be a 3-story hotel that is actually taking up several lots here. There's 2 levels of underground parking, which will hopefully help a little bit in the neighborhood, because one of our biggest problems down here is parking. From what I understand, the first floor, or actually the street level, will be retail. So that's going to add more retail shops, hopefully a few more restaurants, and then the hotel is actually going to be on the second and third floor. So we think it's going to be a nice addition. I've seen the plans.
How many rooms with just 2 floors?
I think it's going to be about 65 rooms, so it's a small boutique hotel, but it's going to really fit in with the neighborhood because there's going to be nice little balconies on the second floor and so forth. So I think it's going to be more than just your standard hotel.
Did I hear that the owner is going to build a penthouse on top that he's going to live in?
Actually, I understand that the owner is going to take part of the third floor for his family.
Oh.
So it will be hopefully a very nice property. Whenever the owner lives someplace, you would assume that it's going to really stay very nice.
All right, let's go check your building out.
Sounds good.
All right, this is your building, the Gatsby, and this is a refurbished apartment complex?
Yes, we actually bought this building almost a year ago, not quite a year. And this is a 90-year-old building, and we were really attracted to it because it had such wonderful bones. Bay windows, antique radiators, hardwood floors that we'll look at in a second. Part of what we did as well is that we want to give back to the community and try to make a livable urban environment. And so one of the things that we added this past year is the nice little fountain and little garden. It's a small space, but it does help a lot when you have limited green space as we do in the East Village.
Let's go in and look inside.
Sounds good.
Now, I assume this is your office?
Yeah, what we really did here was to try to restore it back to what it would have probably looked like in the 1920s.
That ground molding is beautiful.
Thank you. We restored that. And one of the things I wasn't too sure about, which I think really makes the room special, is actually the red ceiling. One of the other things we try to do is we do have sprinklers in the buildings. Instead of trying to hide them, we wanted to make it into a nice element. So we painted all the sprinklers black so that they will stand out. The carpet, the wall coverings, all of the little molding, even the desk, we wanted to go and give something that would have been right for the period.
Now, I noticed a radiator over there. Is steam heat?
There's steam heat in the building, and we restored all of those radiators. Those radiators are original, and from what we can tell, they're somewhere between 90 and 100 years old.
Boy, for the age of the building, you would never know it by looking at this room.
Well, thank you, because one of the things we wanted to do is we wanted to update the building to where it was very livable for the 21st century, but we wanted to retain that character that you just can't get anymore. And as we go to some of the units, you'll be able to see what that special character is.
Let's go see one of them.
Okay. Before we go up to one of the units, I wanted to point out the hallway, because one of the things we wanted to do, instead of just making it a livable space in each unit, but also the public or the common areas. So one of the things that we've done is that we were able to put in antique-style mailboxes, which actually the post office was really cooperative with us, because these are not postal standard. They looked at the building and said, yes, it would fit, and they worked with us in order to get these things installed. What we've also done is that we've asked local artists to display their art in the hallways. And all the art that you'll see is actually for sale, and it's done by local artists. And this just adds a little bit of a unique touch. It's almost like a gallery as you're walking back to your apartment.
This reminds me of the mailboxes in the Cooper Arms.
Well, it took us a long time to find those mailboxes. We knew that it was just going to be perfect for them.
This makes it a place to walk to their units to the artworks along the way.
Actually change from time to time. So as a piece sells or the artist wants to change something out, there's always something different here. And so it just creates a special place, not just a very commercial cold spot, but something that's warm and inviting for people to come home to.
Which way are we going?
Upstairs now.
Okay.
One of our units here. All the units have been restored so that it creates a little bit of a nice warm effect.
Is there any reason for the horsehead door knockers?
That was just something that our tenants wanted to add, which I think actually is a pretty nice little touch.
I thought maybe you had your units named or designated. Horse racing.
Well, that would be a pretty good concept, and maybe we'll consider that.
This is a nice sized unit.
Yeah, this is a one-bedroom unit, and some of the things that we like here that we found is all the woodwork. And all we have to do is to just restore it because it was just screaming to come back to life.
And I assume the same with the floors?
The floors have all been redone. It was basically sanding. This is one of the things when you say thank God for old carpet. Because when we took up the carpet, we found just incredible hardwood, all original. And one of the things I wanted to point out, if we turn around, each of the units has this built-in bookshelf. And to me, I think it just gives an extremely lot of character to the place.
Is that a pull-out bed on the bottom?
It actually is. It's what we call a matchbox bed. And what it does is that in the daytime, you've got a wonderful living room. This is already a one bedroom, but at night, you actually have additional sleeping quarters if you have friends over.
And it's a nice sized bedroom.
Yeah.
Oh, the pocket doors.
Yeah, the pocket doors to me is one of the nice little touches here. It allows you to have complete privacy at night, but during the daytime, open it up and you've got much more space. When we restored this unit, as with all the other ones, we wanted to make sure that we picked out good-looking light fixtures. And so these are actually, but it looks very appropriate for the time.
It has a over here.
Yeah, the kitchen
is small.
It's small, but we went ahead and put in ceramic tile. One of the things that you might notice around here is that we don't always just use white. We always try to come up with something that's going to give a nice look, whether it's a cream color or some of the units have green. We want to make it so that it is unique and everything is not cookie cutter. And if we go into the bathrooms...
Beautiful tile work in there.
Well, thank you. Well, let me show you some more tile work in the bathrooms. One of the things we wanted to do is to choose tile that would be appropriate for the period. The bathroom has the original clawfoot bathtub, as most of them do. And we wanted a tile that, one, would last for many, many years, but still look like it's from the 1920s.
And the ledge here, I assume, is part of where the bed
That's right.
goes under?
The matchbox bed takes up a piece of the kitchen and of the bathroom.
Wow, this is quite remarkable for all the work that you've done. I noticed a window open in the bathroom. Is there a shaft which allows ventilation?
That is actually high-tech, and that serves as a ventilation. Also, back in the days, is in here, the water down into the middle of the shaft. Street.
Oh, so it added an additional coolness as it was dripping down?
It's a unique feature, so you don't see too many of those, but this building actually was very high-tech for 1913.
Now, how many one-bedrooms do you have?
There are 29 one-bedrooms, and there's 6 one-bedrooms and 29 singles.
No two-bedrooms?
No two-bedrooms.
And parking?
There's no parking here. Again, this building was built before Long Beach. There may have been a hitching post in front of the building at the beginning, but not anymore.
But there's not too much call for a hitching post anymore?
Well, some of our tenants, you might want something like that.
Unless
but for the
somebody parked a Mustang out there.
Exactly. Maybe a Ford Mustang.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Take care now.
Here we are in one of the unique bookstores here in the East Village, and you are?
Say Reed.
And?
Shay Gower.
You both are co-owners? Tell me about the shop.
Well, it's a shop. We sell used books, magazines. We function as an art gallery. And we like to think of books as art because we're in the arts district. So that's how we present them, and that's what we do.
New and used books?
Actually, right now we only have used books, but we're looking to get new books as well. We have new magazines and back issues of magazines. But basically, we have used books as our main, base of sales right now.
And your hours of operation?
We're open from 11 to 7 every day but Monday.
All right.
On Mondays.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We're actually going to be doing live music here and film screenings and poetry readings and author signings and
oh, you have a busy
readings.
agenda.
So, yeah, we're doing a lot more than just being just an open bookstore. We want to be a venue for all those outlets.
Look forward to it. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, here we are in one of the most unusual and unique shops here in the East Village, and I'm here with the owner, Max. And Max, tell me about your shop.
Well, Village Treasures is a unique gift shop and boutique, and we're located here in the East Village, as you said. We have a lot of items from around the world, but mostly the items are from Africa, a lot of African imports. We have tribal and contemporary masks and statues. We have furniture, clothing, jewelry, a lot of textiles, a lot of things for your home, for home decor, artwork, framed artwork, as well as prints.
Now, you said the clothing. Do you have tribal clothing line?
We have traditional type clothing as well as some contemporary styles that are made with the African fabrics.
This is beautiful in here. You have so many unique things. You could just spend hours just looking around.
Right, yeah, a lot of people come in and they say that, you know, every time they come in, they discover something different.
Now, how do you get your merchandise?
I travel from time to time to Africa, and I also work with some dealers that bring the items back from Africa and other parts of the world.
And your hours of operation and days?
We're open Tuesday through Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 7, Sundays 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., and we just recently started closing on Mondays, or we can see you by appointment only on Mondays.
So if anybody wants to buy some unusual gifts or see a specialty shop that's beyond compare, they come down and see your Village Treasures.
That's it.
Thanks, Max.
Thank you.
Here we are in one of the newer shops in the East Village, and with me is Vince. I guess you're the owner?
Yes, I am.
What kind of shop do you have, and what do you specialize in?
We specialize in traditional, transitional, and contemporary furnishings for the home with custom interior design options available.
Now, are these antiques or are these reproductions?
These are reproductions. They are transitional lines that kind of take you in between, a little bit between traditional and contemporary furnishings.
It's a beautiful shop.
Thank you.
I love the merchandise you have in here.
Thank you very much.
And the name of the shop is?
It's the Danner Broadland Home Furnishings.
Right at the corner of Broadway and Linden.
At the corner of Broadway and Linden in the Broadland Hotel.
So come on down and check it out.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm in another unique shop here in the East Village, and joining me is Mohammed. Mohammed, tell me what you specialize in.
I'm specializing on the different pieces that we import from different region in Morocco.
So most of this is from Morocco?
Morocco, yeah. Everything is handmade, handcrafted.
So it's very specialized.
Yeah, it's
then.
very special. And a lot of it has some the history, which is the Moorish and Spain.
You have a lot of unique things in here. It's very colorful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank you for letting us just pop in
you're
unexpectedly and say hello. And
You're welcome.
You
Thank
have
you.
a great shop.
Thank you. I appreciate
Thanks.
that. Thanks for stopping too.
Thanks for joining us on our tour of the East Village, and be sure and join us next month as we take another walk through history and uncover more Long Beach treasures. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Long Beach Treasures. I'm your host, Harvey Keller. Today we're stopping by George's 50s Diner, which is located here at Atlantic in San Antonio. So if you'll come with me, we'll go in and we'll revisit the 1950s. And joining me now is the owner here, George Alvarez. Welcome, George. Thank you for letting us stop by.
Oh, not a problem, a pleasure.
Give me a history of the diner.
Okay, this diner was built up on 1952. The original name was Grissinger's. That was the year it was opened up, and it was a car hop and drive-in until the late
Why don't we
60s.
move over here and get out of the way, and so that your customers
will be wandering off. Huh? So that's basically it was that way, car hop and drive-in to the late 60s. Then eventually came just a ordinary coffee shop until the late 90s when I took over the business. Then it became George's 50s Diner.
And I believe the architect was what, Wayne McAllister?
Wayne McAllister.
He was noted for his 50 diners, and also he did the Sands Hotel in Las Vegas.
From what I know, he was a very popular engineer. He built a lot of diners, in fact, and this is one of them. Probably one of the ones he built is left, the only one that I know so far. And I guess very special buildings, very unique diners.
I understand the architectural style of this building is the Googie style.
You can say that.
And
yeah.
As far as my interpretation of Googie style would be where the diner itself is one large advertisement with futuristic designs built into the building itself and surrounded by a large parking lot where people could park their cars and car hops could service them.
Exactly. And for that matter, you even have the restrooms right outside, a separate way from the restaurant, from the diner, because for that purpose, for a drive-in and car hop, and that's why even the restaurant was built up on the outside.
Are there any drive-ins left?
Not that I know, not around here. I think you're gonna have to travel kind of far, a couple hours to find the diners.
Would you ever consider putting this back into a...
Well, that's what I have in mind. In fact, that's my goal, to have this place once again is a drive-in and car hop.
Now, I noticed a sign out there that said cruise nights on a Thursday. What's a cruise night?
Cruise night is a car show that we do on Thursday nights. It will be is an old cars, classic cars that everybody brings their cars on that day, that particular evening. Some of them they're from a car club. Some of them, they're just the private parties, but it's fun. We display some music and outside, 50s music, of course.
How many cars do you usually have?
We normally have from 30 to 40 cars.
Really? That's
Yeah.
every Thursday night?
Every Thursday night. We haven't started this year, but we've been doing it for the past 7 years.
I was talking to someone the other day who went to school here in Long Beach in the 60s, and they said Friday night was cruise night, and they would come down Atlantic, hang a right on San Antonio, go down one block, take a right, and come up the alley so they could check to see who was in the parking lot, whether or not they wanted to stop. And if they did stop, they would order French fries with gravy.
Right, it was very popular in the old days.
Do you still serve it?
We still serve those.
With gravy?
With gravy, with that beef rum gravy. We have all that, basically that authentic meals that they used to serve, the good hamburgers, the milkshakes, root beef floats, all that type of items they used to serve in all day.
I asked her if she said they had French fries with gravy. I said, what about hamburgers? She said, oh, we didn't have enough money for a hamburger in those days.
Yeah, I guess even though the hamburgers were only 35 cents, you know, with fries and all that, I know they were quite a bit right then. Unfortunately, right now, they're not as cheap as that, but we still keep that really fresh, good hamburgers.
What's your menu here like? Typical
serve
50s?
Typical 50s with a little bit of mix that the new items they serve nowadays. But all the 50s meals they have nowadays, we got it in the menus.
I love your jukebox. I like all of the records on there. Fats Domino, Nancy Sinatra with These Boots Are Made for Walking, even
Right.
some Perry Como, nostalgic music.
Well, it's pretty much what diners you have, and that's what we're trying to, to please people, especially request customers, because I have about 20% of my clientele is in all customers that used to come in when they were teenagers.
Really?
Right. So it's really fun. It's great to be able to have some of our customers that used to come in when they were teenagers, and I mean, it's wonderful, and they're
Some
still
of
around
them-
in that area of Long Beach.
Some of them even remembers when it was Grissinger's?
Right. Some of them, they even, I got a photo of one of the waiters then. Some of my customers would know her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What are your hours here? You're open 7 days a week?
We open 7 days a week, Monday to Friday. We open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday and Sunday we open at 7 a.m. and we close at 3 p.m. Right. And
Did when this was a drive-in, did the girls go on roller skates?
I believe right then there was not much of a roller skate. It was mainly walking, as you can see, and they had a special trays, put it in the window of the cars. But they have a nice uniform. It was really unique. For the outside, the car hop, they had a special uniform. And for the inside, it was a different uniform. But it was basically walking, with a tray in their hands. But it was pretty neat.
I remember when I was in high school, there was a drive-in, and that was where we always hang out.
Well, I guess, from what I know, I'm from yesterday. I wish I would have been there because they tell me so many nice stories from the 50s. All my friends that I have in here, that was just a lot of fun. It was great. I mean, I think it was 5, 6 diners close by, and that's what they used to do.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, the Cultural Heritage Commission, the City of Long Beach, has just given you a historical designation?
We just about to get the declaration of that historical landmark. They pick up the place about 6, 7 years ago as historical landmark, and we're just about to get, because you got to get some kind of diploma.
Right.
And we're just about to get that.
I think the last thing that needs to be done is approval from the City Council.
Right, exactly. That's what has to be done. And I think we're close to get there, so we really hope
I think it would
for
be
that.
great if you would go back to a drive-in. I think it would be neat to see the old car hops again and all the old nostalgia.
Well, I think it will be. I have a lot of people really excited about it, and I'm hoping that one day I'll be able to do it. I know it gets a little expensive to do it back again, but eventually that's my dream.
George, I want to thank you for letting me stop by. So if
That was
anybody
my
wants to have a great meal and some great music, just come on down
Here's the
and
place, George's 50s Diner.
reminisce about the 50s and 60s.
Hey, if you like that, appreciate the 50s, the diners, here you got one. Good meals, good service, great people. We got a great staff, and our meals are just everything fresh, and you can find everything from the 50s.
Good.
From
Thanks,
ham-
George.
Thanks
I
a lot.
appreciate it.
It was a pleasure.
And don't go away. We'll be right back with more Long Beach Treasures.
Hello, I'm Randy Gordon. I'm the president and CEO of the Long Beach Area Chamber of Commerce, and I'm the proud host of a brand new show called Strictly Business. And as the name implies, it's all about business. In the coming weeks, I'll be interviewing small business entrepreneurs to CEOs of very large companies about business issues that are critical here in Long Beach. And that means it's important to you, too. Join us on Charter Channel 3 for Strictly Business.
we have customers that talk to us all the time about how it helps with help them keep connected with the community in terms of what's going on, and renewed commitment to providing better service. We've sort of taken a hard look at our call center and our field technicians, and we're empowering them to do the right thing so that hopefully we can make all our customers happy with their service, and that's our focus. I think we view it as a very important part of our offering.
Hi, I'm George Jones, host of Channel 3's Sidebar. For over a decade, I've been litigating personal injury lawsuits and business disputes throughout the state of California. I represent both plaintiffs and defendants, and now I'd like to put that litigation experience to work for you. If you're considering a lawsuit, please call me for a free case evaluation. My phone number is 562-435-9501. Thank you.
I love my kids. We do everything together. We've had some great times. It's painful to think that these memories could be lost. That's why I save all my home movies to Panasonic DVD. That way I know they're safe for up to 75 years. So if you'd like to save your precious memories, bring them in to Avid Electronics.
Hi, and welcome back to Long Beach Treasures. Now we're here in Bixby Knolls at the Black Box Theater, which is a new Shakespeare theater up here. So if you'll come with me, we'll go in and we'll check it out and see what Shakespeare has to say. And joining me now is Jordan Mercedes, and you're on the board of directors here?
I am. I'm the marketing director for the Black Box Theater.
Now, I know this is a small theater. Give me a run-through on the lobby here.
Well, this is what we decided was our first impression to our customers when they come into the theater. We wanted to make it a really warm and inviting place. So in keeping with our support of the arts, we decided to create a gallery in our lobby that features local artists. And on this wall, we have a local artist. This is one of her first exhibits. Her name is Kristen Daughtry, and she's a violinist by profession, and this was her hobby that's turned into a wonderful new art form for her and for us.
Do I detect some paint work by Doug Orr?
Well, actually, Doug has done a lot for our theater. He didn't do the paint in here. I did that.
Oh.
When I came to the theater, this room was a big leftover from an old oil marine shop, and it had oil all over and it needed paint, and no one was sure what to do, so we just went to the local hardware store, got paint, and started to do some treatment on the walls. However, Doug Orr did help us with the building of our wall and with our tech booth right behind us.
And that quilt is another artist?
Absolutely. The quilt is a lovely gift to the Shakespeare Company from a local artist who wanted to contribute something that we could use as a fundraiser. So she created this by hand for us, donated it, and now it's one of our raffle prizes that will go at our summer festival. It'll be raffled then.
Now, don't be modest, because someone told me in the case here, these are your works of art. So explain them to me.
Well, in this case, I have the lovely opportunity to display my artwork.
The colors are beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. I am a mosaic collage artist. I work on glass and metal, and these are some of my plates, and I usually trade them out depending on what show is going on in the theater. So if we're doing a show, I try to pick a theme and then match the artwork that may match the feeling of the performance. And
those are beautiful.
Thank you.
Can I see a piano here? Do you entertain the theater goers before the production starts?
Many of our productions include music in the play. Our show, 12th Night, actually had a lot of piano work, and we had a lovely young man, or actually an older man, who was one of the original silent movie
Now, careful when you say older.
Older, but wiser, perhaps. And he played here in the back of the theater while the performance was going on. It's lovely. So we use this piano for our performances all the time. So it's a part of what we do to get the job done here at the theater.
Let's go check the theater out.
Okay, let's do that.
Oh. Is this one of the artists up here?
This is our lovely artistic director, Helen Borges, and she's meeting you at the balcony.
Hi, Helen.
Hello, Harvey.
Are we going to do Romeo and Juliet here?
We just closed Romeo and Juliet, as a matter of fact. And we had sold out houses for 8 weeks. In fact, we extended our run.
Join you.
Very good. By all means. Isn't this a nice perspective? I love this balcony. We had a terrific run. It was the most incredible thing. And just before that, we had 12th night, and it sold out every night. And it's amazing what we can do in this little tiny space.
Now, how many productions do you do and how often?
Well, we run each show usually around 6 weeks. But as I say, Romeo and Juliet was selling out, so we held it over for another 2 weeks. But because the birthday tribute is coming up, Shakespeare's birthday is April 23rd, we had to close Romeo and Juliet so we could prepare for that. Otherwise, we could run it forever. We had schools coming in from all over, and we had the Senator Betty Carnett was here a couple of nights ago. So we've had some really good support. But we run 6 shows a season, and then we do our summer festival, which is a free summer festival in the parks of Long Beach.
Are you still doing the park?
Absolutely. That's our commitment, is free Shakespeare for the masses, so that everybody who wants to see Shakespeare gets a chance to see it. That's why we were founded, this company, in 1990. And it was originally founded as Bard in the Yard, and they were a very small company that did 1 play a year in the parks of Long Beach, because they felt that Shakespeare should be readily available to people.
I saw some of the productions down at Bixby Park.
Yes, yes. And then eventually in 1997, I was invited to join the board, and the board reorganized at that time under the leadership of Bianca Sovic, who now runs a costume shop here in Long Beach and is the head of the Long Beach Chamber of Commerce. I think she's their president. Anyway, she reorganized the board and got us all together, and then asked me to be the artistic director, which is the first time the company had had one. And so at that point, we started working all year round. We were an itinerant company, though, because we didn't have a space. We just did the Renaissance fairs in Southern California, and schools and churches and any place, basically, that would have us. And in October of last year, we got this space. And
now, how many seats in the theater?
37.
And it looks like in the front row you might be a part of the company at times?
Yes, absolutely. During the sword fights, we always warn everybody that that front row is very interactive, but we haven't lost one yet. And our sword fights are the talk of the town. We've got a really great fight coordinator named Dylan Seal, who just has been knocking people out. That's mentioned in all of our reviews.
So now your next production opens?
April 23rd, the Shakespeare Birthday Party. It's the 440th birthday of William Shakespeare.
Happy birthday, Willie.
Yes, we're going to do it upright. We've got, we're going to do a kind of a music hall sort of thing with skits written by all sorts of people, Tom Stoppard and Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie and Monty Python and people like that, plus some stuff written by William Shakespeare himself, and a little bit from Cole Porter's Kiss Me Kate, and we're just going to do a music hall review sort of thing for his birthday. And then on May 14th, we're going to open The Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde. Our commitment is to the classics, Shakespeare in particular.
Oh, you're not doing just Shakespeare here?
No, no, we do classics of all sorts, going back to the ancient Greeks and coming up through, well, basically American colonial is as much forward as we go, although we do sometimes stretch, because a classic can be so many things. And we did the Plot to Overthrow Christmas by Norman Corwin last Christmas, and that was written, what, 1938 was when it debuted. So, you know, we're not limited to ancient classics.
Before I forget, give me your address and prices and information for people so they'll know where to come.
Great. We're at 4250 Atlantic, which is just north of Carson and just south of San Antonio off Atlantic. And we are on the web at bardintheyard.com. And our phone number is area code 562-997-1494. And our prices are very reasonable, $6 for students, $12 general admission.
And how many nights are you open?
Thursdays, Fridays, Saturday nights at 8, Sunday matinees at 2. And then the festival will open July 10th and run August 15th on Saturdays and Sundays only. And we're still in negotiation over where we're going to be this year. We've been in a lot of the different parks in Long Beach.
Well, the festival will not be here.
No, no, no. It's a
Oh.
big outdoor festival.
Oh,
It draws
okay.
hundreds of people each day, and we'll be doing Midsummer Night's Dream and Julius Caesar. So if people are interested, the thing to do is to look at the website, bardintheyard.com, or call the theater at that phone number I gave a moment ago, because very soon we'll be able to officially announce where we're going to be this year. And we've got very exciting news about that, but since it isn't finalized, I can't say for sure. But
Well, this won't be shown until June, so you might want...
That's true. Oh, good. Oh, well, then in that case, by that time, if this won't be on the air till, absolutely. This year, we hope to be at the Aquarium of the Pacific.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's
In the main lobby there?
No, we'll be outdoors. We have a big
Oh.
two-level Elizabethan stage that we erect in the parks, and so we'll just find a nice big grassy area there by the aquarium.
Oh, that would be a great venue for
Yeah,
you.
it will be. We're looking forward to it. It's it'll be outdoors, and it will be around twilight. We're going to start, because we're going to start a little bit later since we're going to be down there. We aren't going to be in a neighborhood situation, so we don't have to worry about disturbing residents and that kind of thing. So it's going to be a great location for us, so we can have lighting and all that.
And so when is the next production here in the theater?
May 14th, the importance of being... Oh, but if this isn't going to run until June, let's see. Then our next show, after the festival closes, our next show will be Dracula in October. We're going to be doing... Every year, we do a Halloween special.
Ah.
And so this year it will be Dracula. We're writing our own adaptation from the novel. And so we like to stay as close to the original classic as we can. If you look at productions of Dracula, both on film and on stage, they adapt it in odd ways. They change characters' names, they cut characters. There are all different reasons why they do that, but nevertheless, we don't do that. We like to stay as close to the original as possible. So we'll be doing Dracula in October, and then we're doing a 14th century epic, Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, in December for the holidays.
I read a review in the paper about Romeo and Juliet, and it was a glowing review. But they also said that you had a band in here. I'm trying to figure out, will you have enough actors, an audience, a band? Where do you put everybody? Are they hanging from the roof?
This is the thing. It's a marvel. We have this really great space, and we're able to adapt it for stage fights and for dances. We've got a big ball scene in Romeo and Juliet. We put the pipers up there, and they play pre-show. And then sometimes, like for example, during Twelfth Night, we had the pipers coming on and off stage to play in scenes, but they also play in the lobby throughout Romeo and Juliet. They played in the lobby, and the music just came right through without any problem.
We had mentioned earlier about Doug Orr's help that he's given you.
He's great.
Let's give him a plug. The Four Olives is right down the street.
Absolutely. Doug volunteered his time to help us build this place. He volunteers his time to build the set. He designed and built this set and builds all of our sets. And he has a terrific restaurant that's 3 doors down, and we do a dinner theater special. You get a discount on your dinner if you have reservations here.
That's just what I was going to say. Stop at the Four Olives and have some fine dining, and then come and visit Shakespeare.
Absolutely. And then, you know, after the show, you can stop at Doug's on Thursday nights. You have live music now on Thursday nights.
Well, you know, I'm going to have to come over here because I think it sounds really fun. I don't know if I want to sit in the front row, but I just think this would be a great evening's entertainment.
Well, thank you. I hope we'll see you. We are totally devoted to the arts. As you can see in our lobby, we want to support the fine arts, and we want to be entertaining and enlightening and inspiring to our audiences. So please do come.
Helen, thanks. Jordan, thanks. I appreciate you giving us your time and telling us all about your nice little theater.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And don't forget to come back again next month and take another walk through history and uncover more Long Beach treasures. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Long Beach Treasures. I'm your host, Harvey Keller. Today we're fortunate to be able to go through the Jenny Reeves home. This is a 1905 green and green craftsman bungalow. It's one of the 10 historical sites in Long Beach that's on the National Registry of Historic Places. So if you'll come with me, we'll go knock on the front door and we'll see this beautiful, beautiful craftsman home. Hi, Jackie.
Hello, Harvey. Welcome to my home.
Thank you. I am so pleased that I finally get to see this. This is the last historic building in Long Beach on the National Registry that I have not been in. So I'm really looking forward to it.
I had no idea that you had never been here before.
Never. Tell us a little about this is a green and green, and so you're going to have to point out a lot of the green and green influences.
I'd be happy to. Well, the house was built in 1904. Originally it was on 3rd and Cedar, then it was moved to 10th and Pine, and then it was moved up here in the 50s by Dr. Ray Townsend. So when he brought it up here, he contacted the Greens again to put on a second story in the back and an additional area in the back of the lower part of the house. But I'd like to point out this lovely light fixture. This is an original piece that was on, it has been with the house ever since it was built, when it was down on Cedar Avenue. And this was built for Jenny Reeve. Jenny Reeve was a seamstress. She was very interested in green and green. She had a cousin named Mary Darling who had a green and green house in Claremont. So the two of them were like, hooked at the hip, and each one was trying to outdo the other. But just in those days, the great thing about the Greens is that they were so innovative because they built the house into the landscape. So they really built, they probably saw, when they saw this site, they plotted it right into the trees and everything, because you can see these trees are all very, very mature.
And they personalized their homes, didn't they, for the owners?
Well, they did. Like Jenny was a tiny lady, so when you get into the living room, you'll see that it's low. The ceilings are 8 feet high. But when we bought the house, which I'm like the 3rd and a half owner, because my husband and his former wife lived here for 25 years before they divorced and I married him. And when I moved in, we decided that we would restore it and put it back the way it should have been always. But my restoration consultant, who happens to be Randall Mackinson, who's the foremost authority on green and green, incidentally.
Wasn't he the director at the Gamble House?
Yes, he was, and he's fabulous. I mean, he really got into it, and he said, Jackie, if the Greens were alive today, they would allow you to bring your personality into the house. So, what do you feel you'd like to do? So, being a colorful person and a redhead and, loving light, we decided to open it up and brighten it up. Now, just let me point one thing out, though, because at the turn of the century, it wasn't that Jenny Reeve did anything wrong, but the colors in those days were very dark. The colors of the house was chocolate brown, olive green, and amber. So we opened it up. Now, when people come to see our house, they all think it's going to be really dark, but wait for the surprise that's in store for you.
And this door has to be original.
It is. It really is. It was, notice how wide it is.
And it looks short, too.
Well, because she was a tiny lady. Remember, she was only probably shorter than you, I bet, because the ceilings are only 8 feet high. And this glass, which is kind of a yellow, and when you shoot it from the other side, you'll see it has a peach cast. When we came into the house, I changed the color to a very light peach on the walls. And as the Gamble House has their relief in the house is oak trees, and they have all the oak glass, in the light fixtures, and the gorgeous door in the front. Ours is cherry blossoms. So we have a cherry blossom window over here that depicts the cycle of the day. Starts out like in the morning, like if you've ever been in the desert and look at a blossom, you notice how it changes light. Goes through the daytime, and then upstairs we have evening in the bathroom. And sounds funny, doesn't it? And all the light fixtures have some kind of cherry blossom motif. But I'd like to point out something original here, which is we have beautiful quarter oak floors everywhere, and I have carpeting in the living room and in the bedrooms and the halls and the bathroom, just as a matter of preference. But the floors are in very good condition. This is a feature of Green and Green, this built-in cabinet, sitting area. And I have the wonderful cushions that go there, but they always make you take it out when you show a house because they want to show off the wood.
Are the designs up there symbolic of anything?
They're symbolic of the leaves that were originally here in the house, and the cloud lift, which is sort of a design that you see up here in the corners of the light fixture as well. You can see how the cutout works, picks up these cutouts here on the wall. And these are original doors that are wonderful sliding doors.
Oh, the pocket doors.
Yeah, the pocket doors. They slide open and they slide closed. We leave them open. And then when you come in, I mean, didn't it look like a dark house when you walked up?
Yes.
But notice how light and airy it is.
And I assume these are all
This is
original?
a restoration piece. This was the first piece that we put back. In all fairness, when Bob and Gloria were married, the house, when they moved in here, the house was in disrepair. The cabinet was falling apart, so they took it out. This was the first piece that Randall suggested that we put back. And when he put it back, he did a very intelligent thing. He made the shelves glass so that when you turn on the light, it becomes a light piece oven to itself. It lights up the room, and when you have beautiful pieces in there, which aren't so great now because I'm selling the house, but it gives you the effect of it all.
It almost becomes a sculpture.
It does. It's lovely. And notice something else. Feel the woods. We have the pegs here and everything, but the light fixture on the back, and incidentally, it's in the cherry blossom. It has a cherry blossom sculpture in the copper on it, and if you feel the wood, you can see how satiny it is. It's rubbed to the finish of satin, and there are ebony pegs. And when we get upstairs to the bedroom, I'll show you a choice that Miss Reeve had when she built the house and didn't do, but another owner could if they wanted to.
This is really a hallmark of the green and green design, isn't it? This little ingle nook.
This is a tradition. This is called the ingle nook. They have them in all the houses. The seating area lifts up. It's great for storage. In the wintertime, people cuddle up in here and read books and so forth. When we have parties, it's always just crowded with people. It's a wonderful, cozy house. This house is great. It deserves an owner that either has children or likes to entertain. We used to do a lot of entertaining.
Well, this would be a great home for entertaining. Look
It's
at
wonderful.
the size of this front
And look
room.
at the beautiful room. Look at the beautiful woods up in the beams, and the curtains are rotted top and bottom, and they have a special little rod peg. I'll show it to you. That slides out, and there's a
and
little
it's wooden.
peg that goes in there, and it's wooden. And the curtains will of course stay. They're French lace, and they open it up and let the light in. And this is a great house because it's like it changes personality in the morning and in the evening. It's bright and shiny now, but in the evening it takes on the aura of candlelight. It's absolutely magical.
How long have you lived here?
I've lived here for 26 years. And when Bob and Gloria first moved here, well, actually, when the house was first built, this was the living room, and this was the bedroom. And there was another sliding door, just like you saw over here as we entered. And this was the bedroom. And then when the Townsends had the house and they moved into it when it came up here, they made this the formal living room in the front and sort of like a family room in the back. But when Bob and Gloria moved in, they opened it up and they put an I-beam here, which is another aspect of what the Greens would allow their owners to do. I mean, if they were building the house today and somebody said, gee, I like to entertain, but my room isn't large enough, they probably would have said the same thing. Well, let's open it up, let's put an I-beam, and that's exactly what they did. They adapted to the client. So when you restore a house, you don't necessarily have to put it back exactly the way it was. You do it to your taste and your special needs without destroying the integrity, the architecture. Hopefully you put back more appointments like we did. I wanted to start out with the glass work because that's what I really missed about it when I saw the Gamble House, at which I am a docent.
Oh, really?
Yes, I am.
Oh.
I thought if I have this important house, I should be able to articulate it properly.
Oh, we have another fireplace.
Another fireplace. Actually, there used to be 3 fireplaces here. There was one in the dining room, but it was lost in a move. And everything is, it's a wonderful, as I said, it's just great and cozy in the
Are these
wintertime.
original screens?
Yes. Yes, they are. They are. Now, let me tell you about these wall panels here. As you can see, it follows the cherry blossom motif in the window. They're the same configuration that used to be here when the house was original. This was a leaded wall that swung. But when Bob and Gloria were living here, the wall had been destroyed, so they took it out. And when I came, there were shutters here. So we decided to put this back just as a kind of a shutter door. But the configuration of it is exactly the same, with the same leading and everything here, except it has the cherry blossom motif, and actually it's a lot brighter and prettier, I think, because I happen to love these colors.
Before we go into the dining room, let's check out the room back here.
Okay.
Now, would this be considered the sunroom?
Yes, it would, and incidentally, from this beam on, out to here was part of the addition, okay?
And more stained glass cherry blossom doors?
Yes, absolutely, and more. This is a picture. These light fixtures were of the period, which is what Randall said I could do, because the original fixtures were gas lights, and Bob and Gloria took them away, but I didn't like them anyway. I mean, they weren't my style, so I chose these lights, which were of the period that Randall said that I could have. And we put the cherry blossom motif back in, and the glass is leaded. Let me turn it on for you so you can see. Very pretty. Now just step in here and pull the switch.
Oh, how nice.
Gives it a little bit. And you can see how the glass work is actually transparent on the blossom. It's really great in here at night.
And the wood looks so smooth.
All the wood in here is like Port Orford cedar, Douglas fir, quarter oak, ebony, teak.
So it's an eclectic mix of wood throughout
Absolutely.
the house.
And it was really frustrating when they would bring some wood in to panel this room, and I was so excited, and Randall came down and said it isn't cured yet, so we have to wait another 3 months. I thought, oh heavens. But here we have another seating area with a seat that lifts up, and more storage. That's an original little intercom that you see there that we never used, but I just left it here because it was original. We have the scarf joint decorative feature along the ceiling area here. The scarf joint is very prominent in the Gamble House. This is merely decorative, but the scarf joint was what they used on ships, so that when the ship moved in a storm, it would bend and wouldn't break apart.
Let's go check out the dining room, because I don't want to run out of time because there's so much to see in this house.
Come on. Here, this is another area where this is the other area where they had the fireplace. And that's an original cabinet over there. And this table over here is a green and green style table, but it's a reproduction. And I asked them to put the marble inlay in the top so that when you serve, you don't have any problem.
Hot dishes on it?
Yes. Yeah, hot dishes and everything. It's rubbed to satin. It's gorgeous, and it has ebony pegs and all of that. The light fixture is the continuation of the cherry blossom motif, and it helps to lighten up the room. And then
the window looks so pretty from in here.
Yeah, doesn't it look beautiful from this side?
Yes.
It's a different angle. You can see it.
And this goes into the kitchen?
This goes into the kitchen. Now, this is not a green and green kitchen. It's a St. Charles kitchen.
What signifies or distinguishes a St. Charles kitchen?
Well, I think St. Charles was one of the first modern type of kitchens that that they had. Like now, it's like Pogue and Paul and some of the other ones. I can't remember the names, but this is something I could live with. I mean, I was interested in putting back the aesthetic appointments, and when I first moved here, it was brand new back in '78. And but we did talk about, when we got through with everything else, we were going to knock this wall down here and put another I-beam, and the little room to the back, which was an old maid's room, make that the area where the bookcase would go and the office, etc. Because when you put the butler's pantry back, which what used to be right here, you'd lose that, and I didn't want to lose that. But then my husband became very ill, and we were never able to finish it.
So now where are we going?
Well, we can go out and see the register plaque, or we can go upstairs in the front hall and see some of the light things up here.
Let's go upstairs, and then we can check out the yard and the pool, and we can check out the plaque at that time.
Okay, come with me.
I'm coming. All right, now this is the upstairs.
We're on our way up.
beautiful wood in here. It's just gorgeous.
Thank you. This is a very famous, this post. It's always in all the books because it shows the joinery and it shows the pegging and so forth.
Instead of nails, they use the pegs?
They use pegs, yeah.
Oh.
And then we have another typical light, which is gorgeous, especially when you come up the stairs. You can see the cherry blossom motif from the bottom.
Now, did you have all of these light fixtures reproduced?
We had them all reproduced. We had them all restored. And they're all done to specifications. As I said, they're of the period, because Randall said you can have anything between this date and that date, so you choose what you want. And this house, although it was meant to be a home, and it has always been a wonderful home for whomever lived in it, ended up kind of like being almost like a prototype, although it wasn't intended that way, because everything the Greens did up to that date it was built, which was 1904, was done all in this house. But then they changed things the next year too. So
now where are we going?
Okay, we're going to go in here. I'm going to show you something.
Okay.
This is a closet. It's a built-in closet, and they have drawers for shoes and things like that. But this is what I wanted to show you because this was probably an option for Mrs. Green. Notice
You mean for Mrs. Reeve?
I'm sorry, Mrs. Reeve, you're right. Miss Reeve.
Miss Reeve.
Yeah. The option probably was, they probably said, Miss Reeve, you can either have, they decorated with things like, you know, clinker bricks and screws and things like that. All the screws in this door, which are done in a design, are all facing the same way. Now, she had an option to put ebony pegs on this. She probably thought it was too much money. I have no idea how much it cost, but maybe it was like a couple of $100, and in those days, that was a lot of money, you know? So what they did was they always left the direction of the screws going the same way, so it not only looked better, but anybody could pop an ebony peg on anytime they wanted. And this is kind of interesting. Most of the closets are all cedar lined.
So this is a bedroom?
It's a bedroom. It's a wonderful view of the garden outside with a dry stream that meanders from the front wall all the way down to the back of the house, and you'll see that later when you go outside.
Now, where is the night cherry blossom?
Oh, come on, I'll show
window?
you. Okay, I'll show you.
Because that must be spectacular.
We'll go through my bedroom, which is my fantasy. Incidentally, I didn't do green and green upstairs except for the bathroom. I actually didn't get around to doing anything else, but this is a cherry blossom orchard, trompe-l'oeil walls and all. Another closet built in.
A lot of closet space, isn't there?
Absolutely. This room is this is part of the addition.
What neat chairs.
Those are from my family, from Austria. Thank you. This room is like a Jack and Jill room. It joins through this door and through this closet. And the Townsend's children use this room. And this room, this is actually just a closet, but it's another closet.
So this has, what, 7 bedrooms?
7 bedrooms. Well, we didn't use them all for bedrooms because there were only 2 of us.
And how many square footage is in the home?
4,800 square feet, a 31,000 square lot, 3 lots, 3 separate lots, almost
Wow.
3/4 of an acre.
That's large.
Yeah, it is. This is a built-in medicine cabinet, and of course there's a long linen closet over there. Here's the bathroom, and I'm going to show you night.
Oh, what a difference.
It has a
Beautiful
shower.
colors.
Thank you. This is our fantasy, you know.
Well, what made you choose cherry blossom? Just because you like the colors?
I was very influenced by Puccini's Madame Butterfly when I was growing up. It was one of my favorite operas, and I just love, you know, I wish that all of our beautiful, you know, accent pieces were in the house, but because it's for sale, we had to remove them. I have a lot of Asian, English. My home is more eclectic than the average green and green, but at least you can come in and flop down on a couch and be very comfortable.
Wasn't there somewhat of an Asian influence in the green and green design of homes?
Yes, there was. They first saw that at the World's Fair in Chicago.
Okay.
And I'm going to take you down here now,
Oh,
show you another piece of stained glass, a lovely little hall light and cherry blossom.
Oh, that's a neat night light, or a hall light, whatever you want to call it.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Yes. Ooh, what a big backyard.
Isn't it gorgeous with all this wonderful swimming pool? And this is the dry stream bed that we put in.
Now, what is a dry stream
Well, I wanted
bed?
a real stream, but it was really expensive. And so our landscape architect went up to the Gamble House and found out about all the plants that should be in the garden that were characteristic of the house. And then we brought in all these boulders from the High Sierra with a little bridge and meanders all the way down the swimming pool area.
Now, that bridge is another hallmark of the green and green, isn't it?
I don't know if it really is or not.
Isn't there one at the Gamble House?
There is one there.
And there's one at the Tishner House.
There is one there. You're right. You know more than I do.
No.
And I studied it.
I want to see this plaque here. Jenny A. Reeve, 1904, National Registry of Historic Places.
Well, this is sort of how I got my house done, you know. Bob wasn't in the mood to do it again because he'd just gone through that. So I said, you know what? Wouldn't it be wonderful if we did a real, authentic restoration? We'll put it on the National Register. We'll get somebody significant to help us restore it. And then that would be like living inside of a work of art. Doesn't that sound like a good idea? And he loved it.
Good. And it gave Long Beach another National Register.
Oh, I'm so happy.
You know, one thing that keeps going through my mind, you said Jenny Reeve was a seamstress.
Yes.
How could a seamstress afford to hire architects like the Green and Green and build a home of this magnitude?
You know, that's gone through my mind too, and I think maybe she came from money or something. I just don't have a clue, really. You know, but in those days, I mean, they were the turn of the century craftsmen and doing something that was just a little bit getting away from the gingerbread look of the Victorian homes and so forth. And I don't know how she got her money, but...
and she never married?
No, she didn't. Not to my knowledge, anyway.
In a big pool area?
Yeah, it's wonderful. All the kids used to come in from the neighborhood and take swimming lessons.
Oh, did you give them?
I didn't do it, no.
Oh.
I don't swim that well.
Nor do I.
Down here at the other end of the swimming pool, there's a sauna, which we won't, have to go into because everybody knows what a sauna looks like. But it is there for anybody who wants it. And over here we have a gymnasium.
Ah. Now, do you work out every day?
I should. My husband was a real health nut. You know, he was a physician.
Oh,
so
really?
he was always in here.
What kind of a doctor?
He was a diplomat on the American Board of Family Practice, and so he had this all put in, and I've donated it to a children's charity, actually to Arnold's All-Stars. They do after-school programs for children, and I didn't know what to do with it, and I thought, you know, I bet those kids would really like that stuff, so...
Well, I bet they would.
Get it all.
Boy, he had every piece of equipment imaginable, didn't he?
He was really into good health and vitamins and all that kind of stuff, you know. He had another side, though, too. We have a wine cellar with 800 bottles of wine. Would you like to see it?
Do you still have 800 bottles?
I do.
You do?
As a matter of fact, last Sunday, my girlfriend and I went through and itemized every single one of them.
Wow. What is the oldest bottle of wine that you have, you know?
It's a 66 Bordeaux of some kind, and there's a couple of Chateau Lafite Rothschilds and somewhere in here.
Wow, look at all of the wine. Hey, you could have a good time down here.
You could if you had a mind to do that. Probably wouldn't have much of a mind left. He taught me everything I know about wine, which I know a lot more than I did when I got married to him, and I do enjoy it, but...
You have white, red?
We have white, red, champagne, everything. I just, when he became so ill, we kind of forgot about it, you know, and here it is.
Do you want to have a wine sale?
Well, I'm going to. I plan on that.
I'm surprised you don't have a little table down here where
Well,
you
we
could...
used to have that. In fact, when people would come over for dinner, we had a little table down here, and they'd come out down here, and we'd serve their hors d'oeuvres, and they'd pick out a bottle of wine, and we'd have a little pre-cocktail, and then they'd pick out their wine for dinner, and then we'd go upstairs and have dinner. But they got to do the choosing. That was kind of fun for them.
Okay, we have about 5 minutes left. Is there anything else you want to show us that you think would be
I'm sure I'm forgetting something.
I noticed the fence around here.
It used to be a posted fence, and when Bob first moved here, he had the brick put in, the brick walls put up, and then we had a Doberman that jumped the fence, so we had to put
that's why the metal part is away from the.
Yeah, we had to have the the wrought iron put on top because, quite frankly, I got sick and tired of running down the street after the dog. Wouldn't hurt me to do it now, though.
You know, from the street, looking head on at the house, it looks really rather small.
Yeah, but when you get
inside,
inside,
it's really deceiving how large it is.
It really is. It's an amazing house. It just, and the thing is, Long Beach is such a great area. I mean, it's really a booming area. Everything's beginning to happen here. They have a fabulous music center. They have a wonderful art museum. I plan to stay here, you know.
In Long Beach?
I'm going to move close by because I'm right in this area, because I'm like 30 minutes to Beverly Hills and 20 minutes to Newport and 35 to Pasadena. I've just gotten used to that convenience.
Won't you miss his home after 25 years?
Yeah, there's certain things I will miss, Harvey, but you know, I just think the house deserves something really special. It deserves a family that could enjoy it, or it deserves someone who would entertain the way we used to do. And it's too big for me, obviously. It's an awful big house.
Well, there'd be an awful lot of upkeep, too.
Well, not that much, because once it's under control, it's not that hard. The garden, you know, there's a garden, and then you have a cleaning lady that comes in, and I don't have any live-in help.
You do it all yourself?
Well, I keep up with it in the middle of the time that the cleaning girl comes in, and then, you know, in the spring we have people come in and do the windows and clean the outside, just like everybody else does. I mean, it's not any more, any less, but it really deserves a family that can give it.
It's really a quiet area up here, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it like a park?
It almost is. It's just really quiet, so relaxing, and just
Somebody said to me, excuse me for stepping on your line, somebody said, we never see you out in the front, Jackie. And I said, why would I go out in the front when I have this beautiful garden out here? It's sort of like being in the country.
Well, I could just see setting a little table up there with overlooking the pool, having a grand old time.
We used to do that in the summertime. We used to have picnics and barbecues and come out here with a glass of wine, turn on the stereo in the living room. You saw the stereo closets behind one of those doors that you saw. And it's just a wonderful, and at Christmas time, let me tell you, this house really sings. I used to get 500 pounds of crushed ice and drag it down the sidewalk and bury white lights in it, and it looked like the last snowfall, like it had just melted away, and nobody could understand. How come that house got all the snow and we didn't get any snow?
Jackie, I want to thank you for letting me stop by, because I have been wanting to see this house ever since I've been doing the show, and that's been almost 5 years. And this is, as I said, the last building on the National Registry that I had not had the privilege of being in. So thank you so much for letting me come and fulfilling one of my dreams.
You're most welcome, and had I known, you can bet your bottom dollar I would have had you here right away.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
My pleasure.
And be sure and join us again next month as we take another walk through history and uncover more Long Beach treasures.
Hi, I'm Eric Brown. As you may have heard,
Hello, and welcome to another edition of Long Beach Treasures. I'm your host, Harvey Keller. Today we're going to be visiting Java Lanes, which will not be here much longer. So while it's still here, we wanted to come and take a tour and see what it is. And joining me now is the general manager, Tom Chesek.
Chesek.
Okay. Tom, can you give me a little history of Java Lanes?
Sure. Java Lanes was built in the mid-1950s. It's been a successful bowling alley ever since. At times we had full-time entertainment in the lounge. We had name brand singers, excellent restaurants, and bowling leagues from the mid-1950s up to just currently.
Originally, was this not Polynesian?
It was designed Polynesian tiki style, bar, restaurant, and bowling alley.
And I understand that by the time this show airs, why, you'll no longer be a part of Long Beach history?
That's correct. May 31st, which is a week from yesterday, will be our last day.
Can we go on in and see what the inside's like?
Sure, come on inside.
All right. Now, I see there's no one here. Is that because everybody thinks you're closed?
Well, we've notified, usually during the mornings and early afternoons, we have senior citizen leagues, senior citizen organizations, and handicapped organizations bowling here. But they run in seasonal also, and it was the end of the season, so they didn't renew because they knew we were closing next week.
Now, do you still had a lot of leagues here?
We had a lot of leagues. At least 50% of our business was leagues.
And you have, what, 32 alleys?
32 alleys, usually from 6 o'clock p.m. through around 1 o'clock in the morning, every alley's taken.
Now, when I was much younger, I used to be a pin setter, but I used to do it by hand. Now, this is all automated.
This is all automated. As a matter of fact, this was the first bowling alley in Southern California to have the automated system. People used to take buses to come here just to sit here and watch the machinery work.
Is bowling still as popular now as it was? In the 50s and 60s, it seems like bowling was the nation's pastime.
Bowling still is popular. It goes in cycles like everything else. Right now, bowling is about at its peak. It should last for another few more years, and then people will go off and do something else, but then they'll come back. Recently, I noticed there's been a change. There was 2 new alleys that opened up in the area, one in Hollywood and one, I think, down in Orange County. The styling is a lot different. It's more modern with giant screen TVs, couches down in the bowling area instead of the hard chairs. It's more of a social atmosphere, party type of operation, and it seems to be going very well, very successful.
You know, I used to remember watching on Saturday afternoons while I was channel surfing, championship bowling. I don't see it anymore. Is it still around?
Oh, sure. There's still you still have championship bowling. It may not be picked up on some of your TV channels, but we've had quite a few tournaments here that have lasted through the weekends into the evenings, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays.
Now, are you the only bowling alley in Long Beach?
Right now, we're the only full-size bowling alley like this. We're the last one left in Long Beach. There's a small alley that opened up down in the Pike area, down by the Queen Mary.
Oh, that's in the Game Works.
Exactly, exactly. But other than us, the closest alleys to us would be Cal Bowl up on Carson and Paramount. And there is another alley close by in, it's called Rossmore Lanes on Seal Beach Boulevard.
So what are the Long Beach bowlers going to do now?
From what I understand, 50% of the bowlers will be relocating to either Cal Bowl or Rossmore, and the other 50% said they would find something else to do, that it's just too far, and they like this place, and they've bowled here for so many years, they're just going to hang up their hat and not bowl.
Now, were a lot of your bowlers here seniors, you said?
A lot of the bowlers were seniors, and during the day we had a lot of handicap bowling.
So it would be difficult for them to get to some of these further locations to continue?
Exactly. And this alley was built to accommodate the handicapped in the 50s when nobody even thought about it. This ramp that we have right here was meant just for the wheelchairs to be able to come and go up and down the alley. Since then, we've added an elevator, a wheelchair elevator.
Now, I notice you have billiard tables, so you have a billiard room here?
We have a billiard room. We have a big arcade room. We have a big restaurant and a large bar and a lounge.
Are they still open?
The restaurant has just closed yesterday. The lounge and the bar will be open through May 31st. Same with the pool hall and the arcade.
Didn't D. Piazza's used to be up here?
Exactly. D. Piazza was here, and about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, he relocated just on the other side of the traffic circle on PCH.
So then the restaurant went into private management?
The restaurant we handed the restaurant off to someone else.
Now, you're the general manager here?
Yes, I'm the general manager. I've been here for 2 years.
So your employment is limited?
No, that's true. That's true.
I mean,
but
here.
That's true. But I may stay on with the owners. They have other business operations that I may stay on, or I may decide to do something else.
Now, am I correct that after this has been demolished, it will be condos?
Exactly. There are condominiums that are expected to go up here. The plans have already been approved by the city.
Many changes. You know, Long Beach has lost a lot of treasures over the years. We haven't been all that kind to historical preservation in many ways, and I'm afraid that this is another Long Beach treasure that's going to be lost, and there's not going to be anything to replace it. And so before long, Java Lanes will just be a line in the history books of Long Beach.
Exactly, exactly. A memory, a good memory.
And it's really sad because I can imagine how many people who live in Long Beach have bowled here. Probably a lot of them met here.
Oh, exactly. You know, the senior citizens, when they found out that we were closing, they all came here and they were crying and they were hugging the employees, and the handicapped people came in and they wanted to know where were we going to go now. You know, but things change.
Now, you're still open for bowling right now?
Actually, we changed our hours. We open up at 11, so it's still a little too early now for us to open. But we'll have some people coming in at 11. They'll be waiting at the door.
And you said Monday will be the last day?
Monday will be the last day.
May 31st?
May 31st.
Well, that's too bad. I hate to see it go because I used to come up here and bowl years and years ago. And I hate to see these places fall by the wayside. What's going to happen to all the equipment?
I have already basically sold all of the equipment.
Now, it's my understanding the general, or the Ron Petke, who is in charge of charter here, said that if there's anything hanging on the walls that you don't want, he does.
Well, then I'll make a note of that, and it's all his.
That'll make him happy. In fact, he's the one that suggested that I should do Java Lanes. I had not even thought of it before, but I'm glad he did, because I'm glad we got here while you're still here.
Oh, that's a great idea. I was wishing, though, that we'd have some people so you could hear some pins getting knocked down.
Well, we can always throw a ball.
Well, that's true.
I would probably hit the alley or the gutter.
Oh,
but
that's okay. It gets better.
That's about my speed now at this time. This is maybe an off-the-wall question. How many 300 games have been bowled here, do you know?
Oh, a lot.
Really?
A lot.
It's not that uncommon?
Yeah. It's not. Well, it is uncommon, and this is considered actually a very tough lane to bowl a perfect game.
Why?
Just based on the way the lanes are oiled. These lanes are certified professional. If you have a certain amount of oil on the lanes, the ball doesn't grip as easily. So you have to be a little more precise in your throwing of the ball. So if you bowl a good game here, you can bowl a good game anywhere. But we had 300 games bowled here within the last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you a bowler?
No. I mean, I bowl on occasion, but I haven't been able to find the time.
Well, I was going to ask you if you're a 300 bowler.
Nowhere. I think my last ball was about 155.
Then you and I might be able to compete against each other.
That's true.
Because that's about my speed, too. Oh. Well, I hate to see this go. Could we take maybe a quick peek into the restaurant area? Or is it closed?
The restaurant is closed.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine.
We could let you into the lounge, and I could show you the lounge. That's a beautiful place.
Let's take a quick look at the lounge.
Okay, I need to get the key. Is it? It's open? Great. Let's go right.
Okay, now you said the lounge is still open until closing?
Yes, the lounge is still open. We'll be open at 4 o'clock this afternoon. And we have free pool tables here for the patrons in the bar.
Well, this is large, isn't it?
Oh, this is very large. This we used to use for dancing, right, or for tables for the restaurant area. And we had all of our shows going on over here. And we filmed quite a few movies in in this area also.
Now, was this part of the restaurant originally?
This was part of the restaurant. The restaurant did all of its cooking back there in those doors, and then we had those red seats, and those are from the 50s. Those have not been replaced. And this was the dance floor. We used to have tables circulating the dance floor, and then we had our shows going on the stage.
What kind of shows did you have?
Dinner shows, entertainment, rock and roll. We had some real big top-name bands playing here.
Now, is that in the past, or is that...
It's in the past. We didn't have an entertainment license for at least the last 2 years, so we haven't been able to have any music in the bowling alley at all.
I can't get over how large this is.
Yeah, no, this was a real cranking place in its time. And we filmed, like I said, we filmed quite a few movies here. One of the segments of Coyote Ugly was filmed here.
Oh. Now, are you going to drain all of the bottles before Monday?
I'm pretty good at wearing things down, so there really isn't much left. If we had a party, I don't think anybody would go home drunk. So I know how to monitor it.
Well, I want to thank you for letting us come by and see Java Lanes. I'm sorry to say that it's not going to be around much longer, and it's had a past that has been a part of Long Beach for 50 years, and we hate to see it go, but thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
Continued success.
Thank you. You too.
And don't go away, because we'll be right back with more Long Beach Treasures.
I love coffee, I love tea, I love the Java Jive and it loves me. Coffee and tea and the Java and me, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. Coffee and tea and the Java and me, yeah. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup.
Community Hospital of Long Beach is a name you have known and trusted for 78 years. A place where physicians and families are partners in wellness. Since 1924, we have had a reputation of providing patients and their families with the peace of mind that comes from knowing that their health and well-being is our only priority. When you have a choice, choose the best.
Born to be wild.
10 years of hula, ohana, plus food, fun, and entertainment. Come celebrate Ehula Mau's 10th anniversary of Hula and Chant Competition Labor Day weekend at the Long Beach Terrace Theater, featuring 3 days of hula, arts, crafts, food, fellowship, and aloha. But Ehula Mau is more. There's Hawaiian workshops, lei contests, and the Kanikapila Mahalo Bash, featuring the best in contemporary Hawaiian entertainment. Order your tickets today. Hele mai, come join us.
Hey, welcome back to Long Beach Treasures. We found another Long Beach treasure hidden away here in Rec Park. It's the Long Beach Casting Club. Many of you may not be familiar with. I certainly wasn't. And joining me to tell us all about it is Stan Holden. Stan, give me a little history of the Long Beach Casting Club.
Well, the club was founded in 1925. Originally, the pond out here was round, and
was
they
the
added,
pond built especially for the casting club?
especially for the casting club. In 1932, the casting club hosted the Olympic Games, and casting was Olympic sport that year. I don't know if it was a demonstration sport or what, but anyway, we hosted the 1932 Olympic casting tournament right here at the pond, and then originally we had a log cabin over here towards the dog park for a while. And about we're not sure, about 33 to 35, the existing clubhouse you see here was built, the first portion of it. During the war, when the park was taken over by the Army as an Army base, sometime after the war, the back half of the clubhouse, which is what we call our classroom, was added on, and we think probably was a barracks building that they got that was left after the Army moved out. And then
You told me that all of Rec Park was an Army base during World War II?
Yes, when I grew up, I lived at 6th and Park, moved in 1944, and this was all an Army base. There were tanks going up and down Federation Drive. We used to sit on the fence down at at what is now Blair Field, and we'll watch the troops drill. That was their drilling area, which was the old ball diamonds, softball fields. And so about 1945, when the war was over, they moved out.
Let's go look at your clubhouse here.
All right.
Now, I think you have meetings here. Is it every Tuesday?
We have classes every Tuesday, and the classes are all open to the public.
And the cost?
Nothing. Just have to, our fly tying class, they will have to buy their own tools and materials. Our rod building class, they buy their own materials. And the casting class, which is presently going on tonight, we'll have about 100 or so students and about 40 instructors, 40 or 50 instructors.
No, I believe you said the picture of the gentleman over the fireplace is the original founder?
That's the original founder, right? The two pictures beside the fireplace are members that have donated a lot of time and money over a period of years, and those have been voted life members, those two people.
I noticed a lot of pictures on the walls. Are they significant?
The other pictures on the wall are all past presidents, which also become life members, and those with the black stripes, or those are deceased. We're not really up to present time with that, but
I noticed a couple of women presidents.
Yeah, we've had 3 women presidents now. Originally, the club was men only, and we had a women's auxiliary, and there's a picture on the back talking about the 40s or 50s of the women's auxiliary. But now it's open to anybody, and the women, we've had 3 women presidents in the last 15, 20 years. I'm not sure when it went from men only to women, but back in the 60s, I think.
Do they have fly casting tournaments?
We have tournaments almost every other weekend, every other Sunday, club tournaments. Then we also sponsor a big tournament in February, which is the Southwestern tournament. And we'll have casters from all over the western United States, from Seattle and Oakland Club and San Jose Club, San Francisco Club, and all the other areas around. And they'll come down for our weekend. It's a 2-day tournament in February out here on our pond, and we'll have lunch in here, and we'll have a barbecue. We have a spaghetti dinner on Saturday night, and there will be 80 or so, 80 to 90 competitors usually.
I noticed these pictures. Are these all club members that...
These are all past tournaments, and I'm not sure the dates because they're not really labeled except maybe on the back. In this picture here, we have one of the kids, I think somewhere around here, was about 10 years old, still comes to our tournaments. He's a member of San Francisco Club. His father was a member of their club, and he still, up until last year when he had a stroke, still comes to our Southwestern tournament.
Now, they all seem formally or semi-formally dressed. Was that a tradition?
Yes, and back in the old days, and particularly in Europe, which they still, in some cases, you wear tweed outfits and tie and a hat and maybe even knickers or their wading boots, whatever. But it was very formal. It was a, you'll notice if we have some pictures on the back wall where they're dressed in basically suit and tie.
I notice a lot of fish mounted around the building. Are these fish that members have caught?
These were all donated by one member. And they're on loan, but they've been here so long we don't even know if he's still alive. So, but our records show that they belong to a past member, and you know, they're really on loan. They don't belong to us, but they've been here since I really started participating in 1968 when I took most of the classes and so on, and they were here then. So
I noticed also a lot of flies that
yes.
have been tied in cases. Are these all been tied by members?
Not this case over here. This is our beginning class case. And during our beginning class, each night we'll have the students put their flies up on the counter here by the kitchen, and the instructor will pick the best fly of the night, and that goes in the box. So those are all beginners, some of which may be members, most of them probably aren't. Most of our classes are attended just by the public. They may eventually join the club, they may not. So
now, I understand you have somewhat over 400 members?
We have about 404 or something this last year, yeah.
Young, middle age, and older people?
They go all the way from 12 years old or 10 years old to 80, you know. We've got several members in their 80s, 85, you know, 86, things like that.
Can we walk out and look at the pond, and maybe you can tell me a little bit about it?
Okay.
Now, how deep is it?
It's about, well, it depends on how full we keep it, but we have an overflow at a certain height, because during the really competition things, there's a requirement, the height of the person standing on the edge of the pool to the water, so it's about 18 inches or so. And so it varies a little bit, but in the center where the drain is, it gets maybe 18 inches high. You can see the boots he's wearing out there are not very high. The pool's being filled right now for tonight's class.
Now, when you have class, I assume you have several people around the pond?
We will have them about every 5 to 10 feet all the way around the pond, because we have about 100 students in our casting class tonight.
Isn't it dangerous with the hooks on the...
No hooks are allowed on the pool.
Oh,
no, they will have a piece of yarn to represent a fly to have proper drag, and so they can see it. But there are not any, no hooks are allowed.
Now, what's this young man doing?
He's spey casting, and spey casting is a two-handed rod. You know, it's very long, very supple, and you'll see him cast it with two hands, and that was a traditional type of fishing in Scotland on large rivers where you have a lot of brush and things behind you, so you can't take a big long back cast. But you'll notice he's throwing that line about 80, 85 feet with very little effort with that big rod. But he's doing it with two hands.
Now, what's the purpose of casting?
Well, purpose is getting it out where the fish are, or moving it from one place to another. If you're on a stream or river that has a current, you throw it upstream and it drifts down, well, eventually you'll wind up in the bank, and you have to move the line back upstream to get another drift. So it's for moving the line around and for getting it out to wherever you want to go.
Now, I believe in the tournaments you have little targets that you have floating out here?
Yes, down each of those stripes down the middle of the pool is a certain distance, and you'll see the distances marked on the side of the pool. And there will be anywhere from 5 to 6 2-foot diameter colored rings that float on the pond. and then the person stands in the green boxes on the side over here, and he has a certain amount of points that he starts with, and he casts to the target. And if he hits the target, he usually, most of the games have a 0. And if he goes all the way around with all the 5 or 6 targets without missing, and it's usually 2 rounds, and he doesn't miss, then he winds up with the same 100 points he started with. If he misses, you may have 1 point if it's within a foot of the ring. If it's outside that area, maybe 2 points, and then those are subtracted from his 100 points he starts with, and so you wind up at 90, 95, whatever. So
now, is this open and available every day?
This is a public pond. It's open every day. Anybody can come and use it. It's part of the park. We maintain the pond, clean the pond, patch the pond, and you know, we've had to patch some cracks lately and whatnot. We keep the pond full. It's usually always full unless we have something to drain it for repairs.
Okay.
So.
You said all of your classes are free.
All of them free.
How do you sustain yourself? Or excuse the pun, how do you stay afloat?
We sustain ourselves from membership or donations, or we have an annual white elephant sale. But it's all supported by the club members. We don't have any outside income, no sponsors or anything like that.
Do you all volunteer your time for the classes?
All time's volunteered, right? No one's paid. It's all done to promote fishing and, you know, fly fishing and tournament casting.
Are tournaments international?
Yes, we just had the national tournament that we sponsored 5 years ago, and we had one member from Romania. We had several, or not member, but one caster from Romania. We have several from Canada. The Canadians actually belong to the United States Casting Association, the ACA.
Are there women who participate in these tournaments?
Yes, and all the way we have women, children, all different categories for different abilities. We have an A, B, and C system, and depending on how long you've been casting, how good you are, how many points you've gotten in, say, a B category, and then eventually you move up to an A category. And so the people are casting against people in their same ability range.
Well, you know, I think there are a lot of people in Long Beach who don't even know that this exists, and I hope now when they see this that they'll be curious and they'll come out and see what you have to offer.
Yeah, been here since 1925, and there's a lot of people in town have never seen it, and you don't see it from the street.
Right.
So you don't know it's here unless you get out of the car and walk up to it.
Thanks
Okay.
for joining me and giving us all this information, and I hope people come out and say hello to you.
Okay.
And thank you for joining us, and be sure and join us again next month as we take another walk through history and uncover more Long Beach treasures.